Basically, without any doubt, it is clear that these two things, these two concepts are not the same. Like I said before, the web is not the net. The web is not the net. Now, what are the basic differences? Believe me, the internet was created first in 1969 and made commercial in 1988. But the World Wide Web came into force in 1993. So from origin, they are different. The first form of internet that is being created was called the ARPANET. ARPANET. While the first form of web that was first created was called the NSFNet. So the internet comprises of hardware, computers, mobile phones, routers, browsers, bridges, cables, and so many other things like that. Wireless networks, you understand? So all of these form the infrastructure of the internet. While for the web, it is purely software, no cable, no wire, no computer, wide web, World Wide Web. It consists of files, folders, documents, audio, voice, images, and the rest of them linked together, linked together, linked together, not by cables, not by cables. You remember what linked one computer to other computers on the internet are cables or wireless communication systems like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and all the rest of them. But on the internet, on the World Wide Web, not cables, but this document, these folders, these files, these images are linked together by what? We'll come to that. So the internet, I'm still on the difference. I'm comparing the internet and the World Wide Web. The internet is being governed by Internet Protocol. Internet Protocol, IP. But what is the meaning of protocol? I will come to that again. Note, what is the meaning of protocol? Remember, I have said it earlier that internet is being governed or is being controlled by communication, and information on the internet is being controlled by a standardized protocol. What is the meaning of protocol? We will come to that. But the World Wide Web is being governed by also another protocol, but not the internet protocol. It is called the hypertext transfer protocol. Hypertext transfer protocol, HTTP. We'll come to HTTP soon. The internet is purely hardware. The internet is purely hardware that I've pointed out before, while the World Wide Web is purely software. The World Wide Web depends on the internet to work. That is why it is possible for you to connect and not access the web. But it is impossible for you to access the web without first connecting to a network. Yes. Just as a basic example, you can connect to the, let us say, MTN network and still not access the net, the internet. Let me not call it the internet. You are still not accessing the web. You have been connected to a network, but you are still not accessing the net. But you cannot access the net, the web without being connected to the net. So you see, the web depends on the net. When I say net, I'm referring to internet. The web, when I say web, I'm referring to World Wide Web. The web depends on the net, but the net does not depend on the web. So let us come back to the word protocol. What is the meaning of protocol? Like I said before, both the web and the net are being governed by protocols. On the internet, we call it the Internet Protocol. But on the web, it is the HTTP, the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. But what is that protocol? It's a very important, concept in the entirety of communication systems. Now, you can imagine the amount of data that is being transferred on the internet, or the amount of documents that is being that have been linked together on the web. If we just haphazardly allow things to happen anyhow, you can bet me that we cannot really find any sense in the way things are it will work. But with the help of protocols, we have what we have today. Everything going on smoothly, everything going on fine. There is security, and so many other things are happening. And protocol is the one behind every of these things. Protocol is defined as a set of rules that governs communication process, and it provides services such as data sequencing, data formatting, data presentation, security, log, and the rest of them. So the Internet Protocol is a protocol that governs communication on the internet. Details about the IP is yet in another course. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. What is hypertext? What is hypertext? And so there is a major difference between hypertext and hyperlinks. So what is hypertext and what is an hyperlink? Remember, these two concepts are very important in the organization of the web. Because we have so many documents, millions and millions of pages, files on the web, and they are linked together. So it is this hypertext and this hyperlink that enables us to navigate our way, because it is practically impossible for one to search through the web by I don't know what to call it. But with the help of this hypertext and hyperlinks, we can move from one page to another and move back and link from one document to another, or from one site to another. But these two things, they look almost the same, but they are very, very different. The hypertext is simply a text that directs users to a link. It directs users to a link. Now, when you are on the internet and you hover your mouse over a particular text, and you see that your mouse cursor changes into an arrow or a hand, telling you that that text is clickable, then you know that it is an hypertext. It is an hypertext. And it is usually a keyword. It is usually a keyword. Hypertexts are usually associated with keywords. That means words that have important place or special meaning, or they require special attention in the body of text. You can make it an hypertext so that when a user clicks, it can now redirect the user to another page where that keyword is being explained in details, or where something and a different action takes place. But the hyperlink, on the other hand, is refers to the URL. That means the uniform resource locator. That is the page that the hypertext directs you to. So hypertext directs you to a particular page referred to as hyperlink. The hyperlink is associated with anchors. Anchors. In one of your lectures that I've seen in the class before, I see the lecturer explaining to you the HTML stuff, where he shows you how to write tags and all those stuff, create a web document, a web page using all those tags. You understand? So one of the important concepts in HTML and then web page creation is anchor text, such that when you put an anchor text within a tag, we have a link. If you didn't put an anchor text and you make a text a hypertext, then there is no way place to link you to. So that is basically the difference between a hypertext and hyperlinks. And I've explained before what protocols are. I've explained before what internet is and what the web is, and what are the major differences between these. I've also explained what the cloud computing is, or let me say what the internet computing is about. In subsequent classes, we'll be going into more detail what internet computing is all about. But before we go in this class, we need to look at some basic terminologies when it comes to World Wide Web, especially, or the internet. There is what we call the network protocols. I've explained that is a standard way of regulating data transmission between computers. The standard way of regulating communication, data transmission between computers. I want you to note down some of these terminologies. Network protocols, web application. A web app or web application runs over the internet, unlike a standalone application. So web apps are those apps that we use on the internet. For example, we have Facebook is a web app. We have Google is a web app. We have many internet-based database that are web apps. Unlike standalone, that, like for example, Microsoft Word is not a web app; it's a standalone. Corel Draw is not a web app; it's a standalone. But when you talk about Twitter, you talk about apps like WhatsApp. All of these are referred to as web apps. Another key concept is the URL, Uniform Resource Locator. Uniform Resource Locator. It is an address format that specifies how and where to find a document. An address format that specifies where and how to find a document. For example, when you have http slash slash let's say bestowar portal slash this slash that and all those stuff, all those things are giving you a path to a particular document. That's what we call to refer to as uniform resource locator. Then we have the HTML, which is actually a scripting language. HTML, the hypertext markup language. And then I've mentioned the HTTP, the hypertext transfer protocol. And then some other things like that. So thank you for your time for this lecture. We we will meet again, probably in an interactive session.